Hello, everyone. Charlton. It's Charlton. Let's see if I can't do this review in a nice little concise way, hopefully. Not too sloppy. Why I think that Trump and Hillary, why I believe that Trump and Hillary fixed the 2016 election, that the campaigns at the highest levels, including Trump and Hillary, obviously, were working together, and she lost the election on purpose. You know, God only knows why she did that. Like I said, obviously it can't be good. It probably involves money, and it probably involves something worse. Who knows? But it is just, to me, it seems so painfully obvious. And stories like this I don't even pay much attention to. I'll listen to them, but it's all just trickery anyways. It's totally absurd. These two people, Strzok and whoever the other woman was it Page, her name at the FBI? Peter Strzok and Lisa Page sending each other texts. The Clinton campaign, the Hillary campaign, sending emails to the FBI saying they want to talk to Comey ASAP, something like that. Doing all these things on email and text they know can easily be subpoenaed and gotten by Freedom of Information Acts by regular citizens, let alone through subpoenas. This person, her husband was a former president for 2 full terms. She was the Secretary of State for, 5 years, 6 years? Or I'm not sure. I think she was till 2013 from 2008. So that's 5 years. And something like that. With just countless human connections where you can easily go through back channels to request a meeting, an in-person meeting, so that any number of ways. Just like Clinton could have, her husband, Bill, could have done that with Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General, who was supposedly overseeing the email investigation. But he didn't. He chose to do it in the most public of places, the airport, where he knew people would find out about it, to give Comey an excuse to do his press conference, and on and on and on. But I'm just saying, my point is that I don't pay too much attention to these headlines, because it's just trickery anyways. You just have to look at the bare facts, in my opinion. So, and I'm going to just quickly look at this video of the feint, but I like this picture. This is the debate. And I knew at the time, when they had this debate, before, when I was, I was thrilled to death for Trump to win, believe me. I'm a Republican. I have been forever. A conservative, even though my mind can be changed. I believe in something that's good. Okay, I don't care about titles or anything else. But I always thought that this debate. She looked worse than any other night she did. Any other speech she gave, this was the oldest look she had. She had this grandma-like hairdo. And I just couldn't understand it, not to mention her outfit, too. She just looked terrible, and I think that was by design. She baited Trump throughout this debate, feeding him just, gotchas all throughout it, especially the one where he says you'd be in jail, And what he has on her, who knows, dude? Who knows? I'm sure it has something to do with the emails, though, And I firmly believe that the email server set up outside of her official role at the State Department wasn't to peddle influence. It involved something, something way more nefarious, in my opinion. Everybody peddles influence in Washington. They do it all right out in the open. That's what the whole town is about. And not everybody, nobody, has a separate email server set up, to do that. So. But if you just look at this video of her feint, which I think is fake, I do. I mean, to me, it's plain as day. How she's waiting for the van, she's got security personnel, she's standing there, and it's only when the van gets there and both the doors are open does she start to get wobbly. Okay, While she's standing there waiting there, she's just fine. It's only when it's the perfect time, when the van's there and the doors have been opened, then she starts to get wobbly and sort of does the faint, you know. And in my opinion, it's just so obvious. I'll play it for you. But the reason she does that is because it's not that easy to fake it if the van's not there, you know. And then, you know, you really do have to put on a pretty good performance. But if the van's there, the doors are open, it's just a couple seconds of, you know, whoa, and off they go. And it's just not that difficult to lose an election. It's difficult to win one, but it's not that difficult to lose if you want to. I'll play this real quick. Right. Right. All right, so there she is. She's standing. She's standing. She's standing. She's standing. She's standing. She's standing. There's her apparently almost falling, heated, and she went to her daughter's apartment to get her bearings. Let's watch this video for a second. In my opinion, it's fake. You know. Take a look at the map. Okay. She only needs to win 2 of these states to win this election. 2 of any of these, you know, states: Florida and Ohio, Wisconsin and Florida, North Carolina and Wisconsin. So maybe not those 2, but 2 major states, she wins. Okay? She could have spent this entire election with her in one state and choosing a VP that is just super popular in any one of the other states. Pennsylvania, name it. Okay? She could have spent her entire campaign never probably going anywhere but Florida and choosing a VP that just happens to be super popular in Pennsylvania or Ohio, you know, Sherrod Brown, whatever, man. You just name it, okay? And she wins. And it would have been so easy, but she didn't. She, you know, she just floundered around on purpose. I'm going through her schedule. I kind of don't need to. I mean, you know, the only way she could have lost this election is if she did it on purpose. It's the only way. It was impossible for her to lose. And so who does she choose? She chooses Tim Kaine from Virginia, who's absolutely useless to her. Virginia is guaranteed. Virginia is a blue state. It's not a purple state. It's a blue state. So she chooses an ultra-white guy who's about as plain and bland as it comes. You know, it does nothing to appeal to ethnic minorities of any kind, Hispanics, African Americans, you know, somebody who's non-Christian, whatever. You know, Obama, that's why he chose Biden, because he's white and he's from Pennsylvania, from a swing state. Okay, because he's the opposite of what he is. What does Hillary do? Hillary chooses somebody in a state that's guaranteed anyways, and who's exactly like her. You know, just a plain old white person. Again, that's all she needs, 2 states. She could have campaigned her entire time in one state and chose a VP who just campaigned the entire time in that state. And obviously a VP candidate who's from that state where he'd spent his entire campaign, basically. It's not exactly that simple, but close enough. You know. So, you know, I don't have much more to add to it than that, you know. This guy here, if I was Democrat, this is who I think. If I was Democrat, this is who I wish would run for president, right here, this guy. Just happened to come across him in a sort of a strange way, actually because of this. This picture with supposedly, you know, people say that's not Deborah Katz. I kind of think it is. Even people say it's her personal photographer. It doesn't look like her personal photographer to me, but I don't care. I'm not here to debate that. But where she is she's at a a home, a large potential contributor, a software developer in Hamptons, New York, or Southamptons, New York, somewhere. And she's at this guy's house. His name's Charles Phillips. Him and his wife. I forget his wife's name, Karen, I think. And he's just, so I don't know. I just happened to look him up because I don't know. I just did. And I came to this article first by Forbes. I think this is in 2015, no, 2013. It just tells you a lot about his whole life. And he's just a super interesting person. And super successful at this point. And he was throughout most of his life. He, I don't want to go through his entire history, but he now runs a company called Inforum, which is a large enterprise software company, much like an Oracle or an SAP. It's like probably like a third. It's not tier one like Oracle, SAP, but it's I think it's aims to compete with them. And he's this fearless, bold person who very well may compete with them. I don't know. I don't know him that well. So, I think he spent a lot of his life in different places. He moved a lot. He comes from, I think, a military family, and he himself joined the Air Force early in his life. At some point, even before he became an executive, he carved out a niche for himself. I think he learned software in the Air Force first, and he was doing enterprise software there. And then he realized that that Wall Street really wasn't quite didn't know technology as much as that well, even though they invested billions and billions of dollars into it. And he was basically he became an analyst for one of the large Wall Street firms and writing. Writing about various up-and-coming technologies for Wall Street executives so that it would be easy for them to understand, something like that. But he quickly was going to go into join a private equity firm and become a manager himself. And before he did that, Lawrence Ellison, the chief executive of Oracle, asked him to give him a call. And he did, and Lawrence Ellison ended up hiring him and made him a president at Oracle very quickly. And I think within 3 years' time, he was overseeing 50,000 employees, and he just became a seasoned executive almost instantaneously. And spent some time there, but eventually moved on to doing his own thing for Infor. I didn't do the greatest job describing him. He sat on Obama's economic advisory board, and I think they're friends. Just a super interesting person, and somebody I think could win. Definitely. Don't ask me why. This is him presenting some thoughts at one of their conferences. This is from 2018. It's from 5 months ago. Let's just watch a little bit, and then I'll end this video.
Me? Great. So what I thought I'd do is one of the feedback that we've gotten a lot is a lot of you said we need to do more about marketing. So we want to talk about that a little bit because we know that you have to represent us to your organization, and that's difficult if they haven't heard of us. So I want to get into what we're doing about that and try to answer that a little bit and make you feel better that it will get different over the next year or so, at least we hope. But before I do that, I had to share one customer story because I went on the exhibition floor, as you'll see on TV. It ran yesterday. That's done by Hook and Loop as well. So we're going to keep running that. I think it's running on NBC stations, so MSNBC, NBC, and CNBC because we got a package deal. Sponsorship, literally, we started talking to him about 2 weeks before he won the U.S. Open, which we didn't anticipate, but that made the sponsorship even more valuable. So we're on the bag right there. This is a Wall Street Journal ad. We did the back page of the Wall Street Journal to kick off the relationship. And much to his credit, even though we were negotiating leading up to the U.S. Open. Once he won it, he didn't change the price on it. So thank you. Special. I guess people really wanted to take a picture in front of the Inforum logo. There was a little scuffle between these two. This is obviously slightly before the scuffle broke out. We decided not to show any pictures with knots on people's heads. Just leave that alone. But nonetheless, that's how badly people wanted to take the pictures. So we're doing a lot to try to get the name out there. And if you have other ideas, New York for they didn't have enough space. If you have ideas on the entertainment, start sending those in as well, because the way it's working out, we have to book it earlier and earlier.
Part in there where he's talking about what's most important to people, and that in their careers, and actually he talks about that people want to be able to do their jobs better, and that's actually the number one thing that's like most important to them, and like pay was fourth, and just interesting. And don't ask me why, I don't know. I just found the dude super interesting, and if I was a Democrat, that's who I would want running for president for me. And that is the story there. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. This dude could run for president too. This group's awesome. The Strokes. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.